Okay, continuing with Gravity's Rainbow, we are up to episode 14, which is page 94 in the Penguin edition. And now so we've come back here full circle to the maisonette that the novel started with in episode 1 with Pirate Prentice. He is gone now. He's back from his mission of retrieving Katja Borgesius, who apparently is named after Borges, the Latin American writer. Brought her back into the White Visitation, basically, but she's at the maisonette, and Osby Field is there, whom we have not seen, I think, since the opening episode. And they're making a film. They're filming her. She's dressed in a very elegant outfit, and they're filming her, although Pynchon does not yet give the specifics of what the film is. And they're filming her for footage that they're going to use in connection with the projective test that they're going to give to Tyrone Slothrop involving Gregory the giant octopus. But we don't yet know what the footage is or how it's going to fit in with the octopus. I don't even remember. It's been so long since I've read this book. But and then Osby, meanwhile, is making them Amanita muscaria cigarettes. I've never smoked one of those, but it'd be interesting to try it, wouldn't it? Then she's there and remembering now. So there are several timelines that go on in this very long chapter. The present tense, which is in the maisonette, and then her now remembering back to being in Holland, where she was spying on the Nazis for the Allies. She's Dutch. So she was there in Holland together with a Captain Weissmann, whom we'll get to in a second here. Weissmann is something else. Captain Weissmann, and he's bisexual, so he has a boyfriend, Gottfried, and she's remembering back to a foursome that the three of them had together with some fourth guy who's unnamed. He's just referred to as the Italian. And she remembers them in bed, they're having this foursome, and Weissmann was having them play the role of sort of Hansel and Gretel. Gottfried is a young man in the Nazi army, and so he's having them play the role of Hansel and Gretel in an S&M relationship. He ties them up. Sometimes he wears prostheses with a fake vagina on it. This guy's into some pretty weird shit. Now Weissmann. So Weissmann is from V. This is the whole point of why I wanted to read through V chapter by chapter as well as Lot 49 before doing this series. Weissmann was in V chapter 9, which was set in 1922 in South Africa, Namibia, and which had been a German colony from the 1880s. And we had seen in that novel how the whole chapter was based on two timelines. The 1922 timeline, where Vera Meroving was there, the V woman of the title, and he was there, Lieutenant Weissmann, and Weiss, of course, means white, so we have him as, ironically, the white man in connection with genocide performed on the Herero, which went on in 1904. So those two timelines, 1922 and 1904. And in 1904, Lothar von Trotha had been called in to put down the Herero uprising, and he did so brutally, with just practicing genocide on them in 1904. And in 1922, there was another brief uprising with the Herero and their other enemy tribes, the Bondals and I think the Hottentots, which was put down. And Kurt Mondaugen was there. We'll see Mondaugen again. He'll reappear in this novel. And Lieutenant Weissmann was Vera Meroving's lover, and they were practicing an S&M relationship there, if you'll remember from that. So that's who Weissmann is. But now here he has, in Holland, where he's a captain now, Captain Weissmann, and he's in charge of a rocket unit, a mobile platform that is launching V-2 rockets against London. He's in charge of it, and he's a captain now, and his code name is Blessero. And Blessero is a German god of the underworld, a god of death. The name also means white, as in bleach. Der Bleicher. Der Bleicher is the reference to the bones, what death does to the body, transforms it into a skeleton, into bones, the white one. But of course, Pynchon is playing with colors as well in this section connected with Weissmann, the white man, with a god's name as his code name. And he suspects that Katja may be a spy, but he doesn't know for sure. It's a suspicion he has, and the whole reason that she is the one who put the graphite cylinder with the message to Pirate Prentice inside one of the V2 rockets for him to come get her, because she was beginning to realize her situation was getting a bit dicey with Weissmann, and that he might be on to her, which indeed he was. So that's why Prentice had to go and get her and bring her back. And so she's remembering all this S&M type sex that she's been doing with Gottfried and Weissmann, mostly in threesomes. But now Gottfried is another important character, because Gottfried is his young lover. And he was remembering back to a black lover, a boy lover that he had when he was in South Africa, named Enzian. And Enzian has a brother named Chicherin, who is one of the Russians. Chicherin is one of the Russians. And Enzian was brought back to Germany by Weissmann, where he is now in charge of a contingent of Nazi Herero tribesmen in an outfit called the Schwarzkommando, the Black Command or Regiment, which may or may not exist. Actually, we're not even sure. Pynchon says in this chapter that they're fictional, but they're not in the narrative. They're fictional, I think, in real life, but in the narrative, because Enzian is in charge of them, and he is named after the gentian flower, which is a flower that is both yellow and blue. So Pynchon is playing around with a lot of color symbolism here. In Goethe's color theory, yellow and blue are diametric opposites, just as red and green are. And you can prove this to yourself. Actually, there are experiments in Goethe's color theory where if you stare at a green piece of, let's say, construction paper, take a green piece of construction paper and stare at it, then look away to a white wall and you'll see red. Because Goethe's theory was that the eye automatically produces the opposite color to compensate. Same thing with yellow and blue. So Enzian is named after that flower, even though he's half black and half white, because they have the same father, Enzian and Chicherin, but not the same mother. So he's half black, half white. And Chicherin, whom we don't meet in this chapter, Václav Chicherin, Enzian's full name is Oberst Enzian. Chicherin is a character who wants to destroy the Schwarzkommando. He's bent on it, and he wants to find his half-brother and kill him for reasons that at this point are obscure. We don't know yet, but we'll find that out. And Weissmann, then the point of view takes up within this episode to Weissmann's point of view, where he's thinking about the color symbolism. He's thinking about Enzian versus Gottfried. Gottfried as his white boy lover, and Enzian as the black version, or black, let's say, southern hemispheric equivalent. And at the end of the novel, the two will be launched as sacrifices in two different rockets. Weissmann will actually put Gottfried inside a V2 rocket that is named Quintuple Zero. So it's 5 zeros. And the other rocket, Enzian, will be put inside, which is Quadruple 01. So there's the 0 and the 1 binary system again, but also the beyond the zero reference also refers to these two rockets, which are shot at the end of the novel in two different time frames with human sacrifices within them, as far as Blacero is concerned. And so he's remembering about all this. So we have those two characters, Chicherin, Enzian, we have as half-brothers, and we have Enzian as opposed to Gottfried. And so that's the complex of characters now that enter the narrative, Weissmann having come from V. So it's a new cluster of characters that we're dealing with that expands the narrative compass to now include also Africa and the German attempt to colonialize South Africa there, which eventually failed. The colony did not last. And then so we have Katja, and later Katja will have S&M sex, as I recall very vividly, with General Brigadier Pudding, who, recall, is running the white visitation, and he's nearly 80 years old. So she gets around, Katja does, apparently. Okay, so then that's the cluster in this chapter of characters and themes. And then it ends with two other points. One with a reference to one of Katja's ancestors in the 17th century was a Dutchman named Frans van der Groef, and he participated during the Dutch attempt to colonize the island of Mauritius off the east coast of Africa. They tried it twice and failed both times, but they ended up exterminating the dodo bird completely, so it became extinct. And Pynchon talks about her ancestor here, Frans van der Groef, using a certain type of preferred gun to hunt them and shoot them, but he also brought pigs with him to the island, and the pigs ate the dodo's eggs. That actually occurred. It was one of the reasons why they went extinct. The pigs ate the eggs of the dodos. But there's a pig motif. Pynchon loves pigs for some reason, going all through this novel, and it was also in B as well. The pig is an underworld animal in mythology. It's always associated with the underworld. It has a chthonic valency, an earth valency to it. When Persephone, for example, is abducted by Pluto, a bunch of pigs fall in with her from a nearby swineherd. So the pigs eat the dodos, and Pynchon plays around with this for a little bit, and then he gets back to the maisonette with Prentice and Osby smoking their Amanita muscaria cigarettes, and she's going to go to the White Visitation. They're going to have some use for her in connection with Slothrop. But now they also hire this German director named Gerhard von Güll, who makes for them a movie that various members of the White Visitation appear in blackface, pretending to be the Schwarzkommando. So he directs this, and it's only a 3-minute and 25-second film, silent, I believe. And this is going to be connected. It's a fake piece of footage that the White Visitation is creating that is going to be put in Holland at a rocket site that's fake also, that the Dutch underground will pretend to raid, and they'll find this film in there. Only 3 minutes and 25 seconds remaining of actual footage of the Schwarzkommando. And then so we'll get to that, and then find out what happens with the octopus, Grigory, and his conditioning.